Hey everybody, so I'm going to be watching something that is arguably a terrible movie.
Fear, shame, and self-destruction.
Now, this movie came out in what was it, 2018, 2019. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it was actually shot like 3 years prior. This was the New Mutants. Can't tell if I feel blurry. I was blurry. I was blurry. Okay. It's not a Marvel movie, so they're like, yeah, hey guys, just to make you feel like you're gonna watch something good, but it's anything but.
There's an old Native American proverb that says, inside every person there are two bears.
Okay, so little spoiler, we get to know more about this whole little poem thing, or that like this little thing her father tells her about these two bears and stuff. It does not make any sense. It is the stupidest little story. They're the little bear things. One bear represents this over here, love. One bear represents anger and hate and angst. And what happens? You either choose which bear you wanna feed. Huh? Okay. And then she's like, if one bear grows too big, that becomes your bear. What? Can I starve my bear? It wasn't a good joke. I'll give you this. Wasn't good. Wasn't bad. It just happened. Anybody's ever commented on this? Why is a car running straight for the house, runs into the house before the house explodes? Like, why is the car doing that? Who is this guy who's like the town drunk coming on in? Then why'd she run? Because she hit her head, the dream evil is no longer? Doesn't make any sense.
Hello?
Ow! Ah! What happened? Oh, I'm handcuffed? Oh, it's okay. No, they must have had their reasons. I don't know, I guess I'm more reasonable when I'm not saying I, woke up handcuffed. So, apparently they've been at this place, other than her, they've been at this place for like, I don't know, a year or so. Yet they're all sitting in the same circle, and not in the same circle, but they're all sitting in a circle saying the same thing of how they kind of got there. It's like, oh, can anybody talk about their first time they experienced their powers? Isn't this day one kind of like conversation? Like, it's fine if it was like, hey, here, Danny, tell us the conversation that hey, how, here's the first thing that we ask people when they come here. Out of place and forced. Hey, we need to tell a story. We need to tell it this way. Well, you find a different plot device.
What kind of Indian are you?
Like, well, what's made her so angry at just this girl? Like, she's prettier than me. Or like, like some people when they're like teenagers and stuff, or even kids, they'll pick on someone, but it's because they really like them. That's what it seemed like it was going for. I would totally go for like if she was the lesbian, like love interest instead of the werewolf girl. It would have been a better movie. I'm telling you right now, I would have given this points. Yeah.
Where are we?
Feedy anyways. Where'd you get the spray can? Like it doesn't make any sense. If they can't leave, where are they getting the spray can? She never ran before.
hospital, Pocahontas.
Why is she laughing? What's she gonna do? Her power? Oh, she's running again. She's running. She runs like a fat person. I mean, just okay. I'm not dissing on fat people. I'm just saying, like fat people just kind of do this little wobble thing when they're running. So she's angry on the inside. She's like, "Argh!" She's like doing a Wolverine moment because she feels like she was pranked. Or is she angry that she can't leave the bubble? Because right now what it seems like is, it doesn't seem like she's angry about the other thing. She seems like she's angry because she was pranked by the one girl and busted her face.
I didn't mean to scare you.
Okay, so Wolfie, I'm gonna call her Wolfie. Just because, I don't know. It sounds stupid, but at the same time, I'll go. Wolfie over here was showing up. She showed up and was like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And then talks her down. And so they're trying to have some kind of reconnect, like connection. And then later, when they're on the ground and, you know, there's a bad joke, and they're like, oh, maybe we should have jumped. There's no maybe we should have jumped. She never said that she was going to jump. So how do we fix that? How do we fix that one moment? Because life is commonality. Commonality is life. You do not make friends unless you have something in common. For example, you make friends at school because guess what? You're in school. Those same people, if you were just walking down the street and you passed them on the street and you never had that common goal of being in school, guess what? You just go, hi, how you doing? You want to go see a movie? I'm cool. No. You would not be friends. There's no commonality. Here, there's no commonality. But what you could have done was add commonality. Ooh, by doing this.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Boom. Hey, what are you doing? I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna do this. Yeah. When I first got here, I thought of the same thing. But I went to blah 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 and I yada 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 and I realized it wasn't worth it. Blah 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 blah. So then the later conversation piece, the part of dialogue when they say maybe we should have jumped, boom. It's fixed. You have that commonality, you have that friendship, that bond, because guess what? Both of them had that same thought. And both of them decided not to jump. So now they have that fun little thing to feed into. Be like, hey, we're friends now because we had the commonality.
Wow, that's some serious body art. The tattoo wasn't painful enough.
It wasn't my...
I'm fine with this this tacked on lesbian, scene. I don't know why. I watched something one time and they were like, hey, men don't think about lesbians. That's the first thing. When you're like 13 or even sooner than that, but when you're a kid and you're like, oh, I'm gonna look up porn, the first thing you ever type in is lesbian. Every guy thinks of a lesbian, okay? Every guy has that pop in his head at least once or twice a day. A day. I'll give it that. So, like, yeah, I grew up like millennial kind of thing, and I'm telling you right now, we had different ways of just having fun. We'll be like, hey, you go stand on that fence post. I'm gonna throw rocks at you. First one to bleed and fall off the fence loses. All right, go home. He's crying. I didn't see him for a while. His mom didn't let him come over quite a bit.
Thanks, all of you, for saving me. Are you kidding? You saved us.
Hold on. You saved me. You saved us. Okay. If we're trying to say that her dream bear came in and killed the lady and stopped us from becoming... Okay. So we're trying to say that she's saying, oh, look, you saved us. Not emotionally. You didn't fix us emotionally. What you did was you had a dream bear that came in and killed this one lady, and then we just had to save you from that thing because you now stopped her from making us assassins. That's what you're trying to say with that one little line. You saved us. And then everybody kind of looks at her and is like, yeah, you did. You saved us. So you didn't help us emotionally. We're still broken, we're still crappy people and all this stuff. But guess what? We're free. That's all that was trying to say. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not absolutely terrible, unwatchable movie, but it's pretty bad. You'll forget this movie in a minute. So, how do we fix this movie? How does this movie become fixed after all of this? Well, what you got to do is you just got to fix the little things. Have her emotionally fix some of the people. Have her actually become one-on-one with some of these people and take some of this random just BS out of it. Emotionally, if she connected a little bit, minute moments with each person, instead of just having the group stuff of them like, hey, let's do this and solve this person's story. Like none of them know each other's story. They've been around each other for years. So forget that. Forget that storyline. Now let's throw her in the mix with a couple of them, just to add a little bit of a something with each character. So that way you build it on this emotional attachment. You kind of bumble a little bit. Emotional attachment. And then we also need to have this overall question where when something weird happens, they ask people about it. They mention it to someone. They don't just hide it. Like, oh, look, I had a vivid dream that something happened from my past. That way, it tells the audience that this is something new. This is something different. That they've never experienced this before. Just little minute things could really fix this film. Don't have Anna Taylor-Joy just completely be racist and hateful for the new girl for no reason. You know, make her the lesbian if you want it to be like she's fighting against her urges. She's hateful and everything, but she really has this sexual desire for her. But she's trying to fight that by being overly mean. You can do it that way. Or you can have her mean because she finds her this way or that way. Maybe one of the guys are attracted to her. She's a lesbian, but one of the guys are attracted to her and hitting on her, but she was attracted to that guy. So she feels like she's competition and she doesn't know that she's a lesbian. Any of these little things will make that work. Make that little thing work, but none of it works. Her storyline doesn't work. Her little arc, because there is no arc. It's like this. There's no arc. Nothing moves. It's just, rocky everything. And then, oh, look, there's emotional somethings. It's like a heartbeat. Beep, 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 beep. Sometimes there's an emotion, something, and you're like, okay, this could get to an arc, but no, it just dies. Oh, and then dies. Oh, and then dies. It's constantly it. Every character. The emotional arc with even the guy who, the hillbilly. They don't get anything from it. You get nothing. You get no emotional satisfaction. You learn about their struggle, but you don't see them grow from it or anything. You don't feel that they've grown at all. They just together at the end use their power, and they learn that they can use their powers. That's not how you do this. You need to have some kind of emotional arc. If the movie is emotionally based, if you have an emotional basis for a character, you need to somehow have an emotional climax, an emotional build for their character, for having a positive structure there with that character's arc. If you don't, it seems hollow. Now, if it does not have to be a huge thing. It could be, I'll never use my power again. Why? Because it killed my father. Or I want to try to learn how to use my power properly because I accidentally killed my father. I wanted this. So he's spinning around all the time. Because he's trying so hard to learn how to fix it and actually channel his power and do it properly. So then when he's having to do it, he's like, oh, it takes these moments, and you need to make it to where he's starting to get really good at his power and doing really well against the bear. So that way you're like, he's got it. He's fixing it. He there's his arc. But there's no arc. There's nothing. It's just, hey, I'm going to use my power. Okay. No, nobody has the arc. Nobody has any kind of character arc. Everybody's the same from the beginning to the end. Except the romantic couple. She's like, oh, I found love. I mean, if that was what the story was going to be about, then stick with that. It would have been fine. But you wanted to have 900 different stories. So you need to pick one thing that's going to be some kind of arc, some kind of emotional attachment here. You need to do that. Now you can make 7 people, 5, have emotional arcs. I mean, there's so many stories out there that can prove that. But you have to give them the time of day to do that. But you didn't give anybody the time of day. You gave people these moments that don't make any sense, like the lie detector scene. That whole scene was pointless. Pointless. We did not, as an audience, learn anything that we did not know. It was the same emotional fragrance as the rest of the movie, and it smelled like shit. So take that scene out. Do something with it. And a lot of these scenes were not friendship building. When they were out and about doing their own thing, you need to build friendships that weren't just already established. You kept the friend little cliques. Don't do that. You need to somehow diverge them into other little cliques. Have them play fucking hide and seek. When they're playing hide and seek, they go into these little cliques and they're like, oh, hey, blah, 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 blah. And they get into talking. You could have them do just something stupid like that. You could have made these little moments, but you didn't. So it doesn't work. It can be worked. It can work well if it was just, the script was just altered, just fixed. But it wasn't fixed by anybody who knew what they were doing. Alright. I know this quickie review became longer, but thank you guys, and watch some more really bad movies.